There are no coincidences. The fact that you're here right now, listening to these words, is proof that something within you is ready. You didn't stumble on this video by accident. Life brought you here for a reason, because you're ready to receive it all. You may have doubted yourself. You may have waited patiently, endured quietly, or struggled silently. But beneath all of that, something has been growing, a deeper knowing, a quiet strength, a readiness to finally allow in what you've been asking for. This moment is a turning point. You've outgrown the version of yourself that only knew how to survive. You're stepping into the version of you that knows how to thrive. The universe, God, your higher self, whatever you believe in, has been listening. The seeds you planted long ago are ready to bloom, not because of luck, but because you finally believe you're worthy of the harvest. And it begins the moment you say yes. Yes to healing. Yes to receiving. Yes to being more than your past. Yes to abundance, love, peace, and power that is no longer out of reach, but already within you. All you had to do was awaken to it. And you have, so breathe. Let the noise fade, let the doubts go. Let this be the moment you welcome all that is meant for you. You didn't find this message. This message found you, because you're finally aligned with the version of you who's ready to receive it all. You are not here by accident. The timing of this moment, the words reaching your heart, the emotions stirring within you, none of it is random. Life has a quiet intelligence, a way of weaving events, experiences, and encounters that may seem ordinary, but are actually extraordinary in design. What you are hearing right now is not just content. It's a reflection of something you've been asking for, whether through words, feelings, or silent longing. Maybe you've been sending out prayers in the form of sleepless nights. Maybe your soul has been whispering truths you couldn't yet speak out loud. And now, here you are, in the exact place you're meant to be, receiving a message that echoes the readiness of your spirit. You've traveled a path filled with lessons, detours, and invisible battles. Through it all, you've grown stronger, even when it felt like you were breaking. You've questioned your worth, searched for clarity, and wished for a sign that everything would make sense. This is that moment. Something greater than you, call it the universe, God, divine timing, or fate, has orchestrated this connection because it recognizes that you're on the edge of something new. Deep within, there is a part of you that already knows this. That part has been guiding you silently, nudging you toward healing, expansion, and awakening. The fact that you're listening now means that part of you is louder than ever. Perhaps you thought you were lost, but in truth, you were being guided. Perhaps you felt forgotten, but you were being protected. Each experience that once seemed meaningless was actually preparing you for this awareness. Life has been shaping you, refining you, opening your heart and sharpening your vision so you could recognize this moment when it arrived. And now that it has, your soul knows. It recognizes the truth beneath these words. You are not here by accident. You are here because you are finally ready to remember who you truly are and what's always been waiting for you to claim. Readiness is an energy. It's not a checklist of accomplishments or a result of perfect circumstances. It's a vibration, a frequency you begin to emit the moment you decide, deeply, internally, that you are open to receive. It doesn't come from forcing, striving, or proving yourself. It comes from aligning your inner world with the belief that you are enough, that you are worthy, and that what you've been asking for is already finding its way to you. Readiness is the shift from hoping to knowing, from wishing to allowing. It happens quietly sometimes, almost imperceptibly, like the sunrise before you realize the sky has changed. But once you begin to feel it, you know it. You recognize the stillness, the clarity, the calm trust that replaces anxiety. You're no longer chasing because you've become magnetic. There was a time when you thought readiness meant being perfect, having it all figured out, or fixing every flaw. But that was an illusion. True readiness doesn't come when the external world looks safe. It comes when your internal world feels aligned, when you no longer doubt that you are supported, when you no longer shrink in the face of your desires, when you begin to move differently, think differently, speak differently. not out of fear, but out of faith in your timing, your journey, your worth. Readiness is energetic maturity. It's when you stop negotiating with your destiny and begin receiving it. When you stop waiting for the signs and start realizing you are the sign. This energy is subtle yet powerful. It doesn't shout, it radiates. It doesn't rush, it flows. You begin to notice that you're less triggered by what used to bother you, more patient with what used to frustrate you, and more trusting of what once scared you. That's because you're resonating at a new level. Your frequency has changed. You're not in the same place emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. You're operating from a deeper truth now, one that tells you it's safe to receive, it's safe to expand, it's safe to let the blessings in. And because energy doesn't lie, the world begins to respond. Opportunities show up, synchronicities unfold. People cross your path with answers you didn't know you needed. That's what readiness does. It calls in the next chapter before you even take the first step. You've already done the inner work. Even if you didn't always see it as work, even if no one else noticed or acknowledged it, you've been showing up for yourself in quiet, powerful ways. Every time you chose to keep going when things felt heavy, every time you paused to reflect instead of react, every time you questioned your old beliefs and reached for something truer, you were doing the work. The work isn't always about dramatic change or grand gestures. Sometimes it's in the moments you sat with your pain instead of running from it. Sometimes it's in the tears you shed alone, in the forgiveness you offered when it wasn't asked for, in the boundaries you set that terrified you but set you free. There were days when you doubted everything, when your heart ached with uncertainty, when you felt stuck between who you were and who you were becoming. But still you stayed with yourself. You listened. You healed layer by layer, not because it was easy, but because something inside you knew you were meant for more. And even when the progress was invisible, it was there. You were breaking cycles. You were unlearning patterns. You were making space for the version of you that was waiting to emerge. That version is no longer waiting. It's arriving here and now because of everything you've already done. The inner work is sacred, and it often goes unseen. It's not about perfection or having all the answers. It's about choosing growth over comfort, truth over illusion, and presence over avoidance. You've sat in the stillness when it was deafening. You've questioned what you once thought was absolute. You've found strength in your vulnerability and clarity in your confusion. That's what transformation looks like. Not loud, but real. Not instant, but lasting. The kind of growth that can't be undone because it happened deep within you. You've earned the peace that's starting to find you. You've cleared the space for blessings to land. You've shifted your inner landscape so completely that your outer reality can't help but respond. You may not have received everything you want yet, but you've become the version of yourself who can hold it, who can trust it, who can allow it. The journey inward has prepared you more than you know, and even in the silence of your process, everything was changing. You've already done the inner work, and now life is catching up with the frequency you've been quietly mastering all along. Your desires are valid and sacred. They are not random or foolish, not selfish or shallow. They are whispers from your soul, calling you toward expansion, toward purpose, toward the life you were meant to live. Every longing you feel in your heart is rooted in something deeper than wishful thinking. It's a divine signal, an inner compass, guiding you toward what will awaken more of who you are. You didn't come here to settle or to shrink yourself into someone else's definition of enough. You came here to remember your power, your truth, and the beauty of wanting something more, not because what you have is unworthy, but because your spirit was made to grow. Too often, you've been taught to distrust your desires, to see them as distractions or indulgences. You may have been told to be content with less, to silence the voice inside that dreamed of more. But your desires are not to be feared or judged. They are sacred instructions, tailor-made for your unique path. They exist because something within you knows they are possible. Something within you remembers your purpose even when your mind forgets. And the more you allow yourself to listen to that voice, the more you come into alignment with your truest self. Your desires do not make you ungrateful. They make you alive. They are not signs of dissatisfaction, but of readiness. Readiness to love deeper, to live fuller, to express more freely, to rise into new levels of joy, peace, and purpose. Every time you acknowledge what you truly want, not what's safe, not what's expected, but what calls you, you reclaim a piece of your power. You step out of survival and into creation. You move from limitation into expansion. And in that space, life meets you with synchronicity, opportunity, and grace. The sacredness of your desires lies in their ability to reveal who you are becoming. They show you where your heart wants to go before your mind catches up. They teach you trust. They teach you courage. They ask you to believe in things before they appear, to hold space for possibilities even when there is no evidence yet. This isn't delusion, it's vision. This isn't fantasy, it's faith. And when you honor your desires as sacred, you begin to realize that your dreams are not asking too much. They are asking for your permission to unfold. They are waiting for your yes, your trust, your belief that you are allowed to want what you want without guilt, shame, or apology. Receiving requires trust, not effort. It's not about how hard you try, how much you hustle, or how perfectly you perform. It's about how deeply you trust that what is meant for you is already on its way. For so long, you may have been conditioned to believe that if you're not pushing, striving, or doing more, then you're falling behind. That to deserve love, abundance, peace, or success, you have to earn it through struggle. But that belief belongs to a version of you that didn't yet know your worth. True receiving begins when you realize you don't have to prove yourself to be chosen, and you don't have to force anything that is truly aligned with your soul. Trust is the energy that opens the door. It's the quiet, knowing that everything is unfolding in the right timing, even when you can't see the full picture yet. Trust allows you to release the tight grip of control and lean into the flow of life. It's not passive, it's powerful. It says, I've done my part, and now I allow the universe to do its part. That shift from effort to trust doesn't mean you stop showing up. It means you stop attaching your worth to the outcome. You begin to move from a space of alignment rather than anxiety. You choose to be guided rather than constantly trying to figure it all out on your own. When you trust, you let go of the belief that everything must be difficult to be valuable. You begin to see that ease is not laziness, but receptivity. That slowing down is not falling behind, but sensing up with divine timing. Trust teaches you patience, not the kind that waits with frustration, but the kind that waits with confidence. It invites you to rest in the truth that you are already supported, already seen, already loved by something greater than you. In the space of trust, miracles have room to enter. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop doubting and start aligning. You stop operating from lack and start vibrating from fullness. Because trust is the frequency of receiving. It signals to the universe that you believe you are worthy, not someday but now. And from that place, blessings flow, not because you demanded them, but because you became the version of yourself who knows how to allow them in. Letting go creates space for receiving. It's one of the most powerful shifts you can make on your journey. Not just a release of control, but a release of weight you were never meant to carry. So often we hold tightly to things that feel familiar, even when they no longer serve us. Old stories, outdated identities, limiting beliefs, painful attachments, unfulfilled expectations. We grip them because they once made us feel safe. But the truth is, nothing new can enter a space that is already full. And until we're willing to unclench our hearts, our minds, and our energy, what we truly desire is nowhere to land. Letting go isn't a loss. It's an act of sacred clearing, a seem to whisper not. It's the courageous decision to trust that what's ahead is greater than what's behind, that to whisper. It's understanding that your past does not have to keep writing your future, that your worth is not tied to what you've survived, and that clinging to what feels certain often keeps you from what feels destined. Letting go is how you honor your growth. It's how you say to life, I am ready to receive not what is familiar but what is aligned. And yes, letting go can feel uncomfortable. It can feel like standing in an empty room after moving out of a space you've known for years. There is silence, there is uncertainty, there is space. But that space is sacred. That space is where new energy flows in. That space is not a void. It is a vessel. It is where the universe places the blessings you've been praying for. It is where the manifestations take form, where the dreams find direction, where the clarity finally comes. Letting go is not forgetting. It's not pretending it didn't matter. It's not erasing the lessons or the love. It's choosing to honor it by releasing it, by saying, "Thank you for what you taught me, and now I set you free." You're not betraying your past. You're honoring your future. You're making a statement that you're ready for more, that you trust what's coming even more than what has been. And when you let go, not from anger, not from fear, but from trust, you align yourself with the flow of life instead of resisting it. You begin to walk with open hands instead of closed fists, with an open heart instead of a guarded one. And in that openness, in that willingness to let go, the universe responds. Not with resistance, but with gifts. Alignment precedes manifestation. Before anything shows up in the physical world, it must first be aligned within. Your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, and your energy are constantly communicating with life, shaping the experiences you attract and the reality you live. The whisper not manifestation is not a magical event that appears out of nowhere. It's the natural result of energetic harmony. When your inner world matches the frequency of what you desire, the outer world begins to respond in ways that reflect that alignment. It's not about chasing the goal. It's about becoming the version of you who is already in resonance with it. You can set all the intentions, speak all the affirmations, make all the vision boards, but if your internal state is rooted in fear, doubt, or unworthiness, continue to whisper not, you'll continue to create from that space. That's why alignment matters more than action. Alignment means that your heart, mind, and energy are all moving in the same direction. It means that your desire is no longer just a wish. It's an embodied knowing. You don't just want it. You expect it. You don't just visualize it. You live as though it's already real. That shift in energy changes everything. Suddenly, the path becomes clearer. The timing feels right. The right people and opportunities begin to appear, not because you forced them to, but because you aligned with them. Alignment is when your beliefs support your desires, not contradict them. It's when your self-talk uplifts instead of sabotages. It's when you move with faith instead of fear. And often, that alignment requires inner work, releasing limiting narratives, healing emotional wounds, and choosing new patterns that reflect who you're becoming instead of who you've been. It's a process of tuning yourself like an instrument until you vibrate in harmony with what you're calling in. And the more consistent your alignment becomes, the less effort is needed, because manifestation becomes a natural unfolding, not a forced achievement. So often people look outside of themselves, asking, why hasn't it happened yet? But the more powerful question is, am I aligned with what I'm asking for? Are your habits, thoughts, not, and choices in support of the life you say you want? Are you emotionally available to receive what you've been asking for? Are you making space mentally and spiritually for your desires to enter? These are the moments that reveal where you truly stand, not in judgment, but in awareness. Because once you see where the gaps are, you can begin to close them. You can choose again. You can raise your frequency, clear the noise, and step into greater coherence with what's meant for you. Alignment is not about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about choosing again and again to return to your center, to return to your truth, to return to the vibration of faith, joy, and worthiness. As you do, manifestation becomes less about waiting and more about allowing, less about striving and more about receiving. Because when you are aligned, you are no longer seeking the thing. You are becoming the space where it naturally belongs. This is the beginning of the receiving era. After all the inner work, after all the cycles of releasing, heal, and becoming, you are finally stepping into the space where you are no longer just preparing. You are allowing. You seem to whisper. You are no longer resisting or questioning whether you're worthy. You are no longer playing small to make others comfortable or second-guessing the visions that continue to return to you in moments of stillness. You are beginning to embody the energy of someone who knows that receiving is not only possible, but natural. It's not a reward for suffering.
Alright, so like to
It's not a
summarize
prize you have to earn
episode
through
2, the rising to
overgiving,
see, thank God they're making a
self-sacrifice,
hybrid team
or
sponsor.
proving your value. It's your birthright. It's your essence meeting the right moment. It's your readiness finally aligning with divine timing. This era of receiving is softer, but not weaker. It is rooted, calm, unshakable. It doesn't roar, it radiates. It doesn't hustle, it magnetizes. You've spent enough time clearing out what no longer serves you. Old relationships, outdated beliefs, limiting patterns, false identities. You've made space. You've carved out room in your heart, your mind, and your energy field for something new, something aligned, something true. And now that space is being filled, not with chaos, not with confusion, but with clarity, peace, abundance, and love that resonates with who you've become. You've learned to trust your intuition. You've learned to sit in stillness without rushing to fix or force. You've learned that receiving isn't passive. It's the ultimate act of faith. It's surrender with intention. It's saying to the universe, I trust you. I trust myself. I trust the path even when I don't see all of it. And that trust has become your new foundation. That to whisper not. That trust is the key that opens doors without needing to knock. It's the frequency that draws in opportunities, connections, and experiences that feel like home, not because they complete you, but because they reflect the wholeness you've cultivated within. You are no we whisper. You are no longer in the energy of scarcity, of trying to grasp, chase, or hold on too tightly. You're moving differently now. You're speaking more gently to yourself, honoring your boundaries, choosing peace over drama, alignment over approval. And in doing so, you are signaling to life that you are truly ready, ready to be poured into, ready to be supported, ready to be seen, chosen, loved, to whisper not, and celebrated not for what you do, but for who you are. This era of receiving isn't about gaining things for validation. It's not, it's about being in alignment with your soul's truth and allowing everything that matches that truth to come into your life with grace. Not. The waiting season is giving way to the blooming season. You're no longer preparing the soil. You're watching the first signs of growth. Seem to whisper not. You're not begging for signs. You're recognizing them in real time. The version of you that once had to fight to feel seen now stands open-hearted and unapologetically receptive. There's no more begging, chasing, or proving not, only becoming, allowing, and receiving. So now take a breath and let it all settle in. Not, you are no longer reaching for the life you want. You are aligning with it. Everything you've released has made space for what's arriving. Everything you've endured has prepared you to hold what's meant for you. This is your time. Not someday, not eventually, but now. Step forward not with fear, but with faith. Trust that you are exactly where you're meant to be, and from this moment on, allow yourself to receive it all.